Okay, so we're moving on into some of the newer Group 3s here, and we've got a couple coming up from the Limagrain stable, Illuminate and Astronomer. First one we'll cover is Illuminate, which has been sort of quite widely grown in this area. Last year there was a lot of it went down because people looking for that barrel replacement. As we can see again, like a lot of the varieties, and we're going to talk about Cougars all day long here, Cougar in the parentage, but it's further back, it's a Cougar cross Leeds. So guess what? We've got Leeds in the parentage, so guess what we're having there as well as Septoria? We've got mildew in here. It's not as evident now, it's drier, but earlier on in the season, and there is still some showing there. You can see there on the leaf there's mildew around, but mildew doesn't worry me in varieties because we have got fungicides which can control mildew. And I'll go back to, again, untreated and then treated, fungicides doing the job. So as long as you're making sure that you've got your fungicides, correct fungicides and correct timing, the diseases don't worry me as they should do.
And this field didn't have any specific mildew side either, did it really?
It hasn't, no, to be fair, but it's had a very, very robust fungicide programme.
Yeah. But this is a variety that we actually, last year was the first year for it, so this will be the first harvest of it. And it looked really promising, and of course last year when we stood in the trials last year we were sort of crowing about its superior Septoria resistance, but unfortunately what a difference a year makes, and having the Cougar in the back crossing, albeit it's a grandparent, we have noticed that, if we're absolutely honest, in the untreated plots, as David says, it's definitely a bit dirtier this time. However, certainly there's quite a bit of it out on farm this year, and generally the feedback I've been having from growers and farmers has been pretty positive on the variety. In a treated situation it's looked well, everybody thinks it's got full of potential and full of promise, and let's not forget all the good things about Illuminate. You know, it's right up there on yield, level with barrel really, 101 I think it's in the mix. It's a very versatile wheat, you can drill it early, it's a first wheat, second wheat, early drill, later drill, light land, heavy land. It's a pretty decent all-round package, so it'll be interesting to see how it does come harvest time. But
yeah, where we've got it commercially, I think everybody's happy enough with it, you know, because you wouldn't grow it untreated commercially. So where we've got it commercially, I haven't really had any negative feedback on it yet. Truthfully, when the combine goes in.
From a marketing point of view, you know, this is ticking the Group 3 biscuit, and it's a distilling wheat.
Is it, mate?
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, you know, it's got the market options, which Barrow and Firefly don't have. So yeah, still in the mix.
Yeah,
comments?
Certainly. I think Paul's covered most of what there is to say. I think the general feeling from us is just a bit of disappointment that we have got the Cougar issues with Septoria showing in the untreated, but I mean, hopefully, the proof will be in the pudding at harvest, and we'll see how the crops on farm that have been treated in a normal situation perform, because ultimately that's going to determine whether it goes back in the ground or not.
Yeah, and I think that, back to what you were saying earlier, David, about the barrel, I mean, the sowing, it's not just about the variety, it is about the sowing date. These plots were drilled on the 29th of September. It's a different animal if you drill in the 2nd of September, and the same caveat applies to Illuminate, even though it is technically a slow developing early drill variety. If you're going to drill it early, same caveat applies as barrel, you're going to have to be on your mettle to manage it and watch it.
Absolutely, and going forward, something we're going to do with this trial site is for next year, we're actually going to take about 6 to 10 varieties, Illuminate will be one of them, and we're actually going to drill them first week in September, so to more replicate what happens in this part of the world, because like you say, there's a massive difference in drilling date, but you're not going to stop drilling beginning of September, so we're going to put half a dozen varieties in just to show that difference, what drilling makes to your disease scores. So it'll be interesting going forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting interaction, because it is a very important part of it. It's not just about variety choice, it's about variety choice for when you're going to drill.
Yeah.